Okay, questions for Coach? Raise your hand. Let's get the handheld mic to you. First question, front row here.
Hubert, Tom Shanahan from Spartan Mag. Kevin Guskowitz is now at Michigan State, and I understand that you knew him pretty well and had a lot of respect for him. Just wanted to get your thoughts on him wearing the other colors for this game.
Well, my relationship with him and his family, just a terrific person. The time that he served as chancellor at North Carolina was absolutely fantastic. But he's one of my friends, and I wish him the best at Michigan State, and Michigan State is lucky to have him.
Hubert, Scott Fowler from the Charlotte Observer. What do you tell Elliot Cadeau when he has a game when he doesn't perform as well as he wanted to on Thursday? And could you just talk in general about the guard matchups in this game Saturday?
Well, the guard matchups is going to be very key in determining, the outcome of the game. Elliot, his ability to be able to push the ball and create offense even before we start our offense has just been huge for us this year. He's really fast, and he's even faster with the ball. His ability to pass, I've loved his progression in terms of from a defensive standpoint, diving on loose balls, and that type of energy and effort, and is going to be needed against a really good Michigan State team tomorrow.
To our right.
Hubert, Nick Carboni from NBC Charlotte. Just wondering from a coach's perspective, with Jalen and Harrison and Cormac coming into the program, what have they done to help make it work so well, but also what have your veteran players like Armando and RJ done as well to make it work?
Well, for whatever reason, this group from the start has just enjoyed being together. They just have, and they have wanted to be a team. And it started off the court. Their personalities just work really well together, and it's translated out there on the floor. There's a genuine, each one of the guys genuinely wants their teammate to be successful. They understand the importance of each individual teammate and what it helps and what it brings for our team to be the best that it can be. And having guys come in for the first year like Paxton, Cormac, and Harrison, and them just diving into this team, this program, this university, and for guys like Armando and RJ that have been here to welcome them in and to be able to bring them in from the standpoint where it feels like Paxton, Harrison, and Jay Witt and all these guys have been here for more than just 1 year. The chemistry with this group is real, and it's been nice to be around.
Back left.
Trayvon Miles, ABC 11 in Raleigh. Hubert, I saw you guys practice at Johnson C. Smith the other day. Can you talk about some of your emotions walking into that place? And Armando and RJ just said they knew how special it was, considering what kind of history your family has there.
Yeah, it's really cool. Johnson C. Smith is where my parents went to school, so that's where they met, and they decided to get married and have Hubert Jr. And so to be able to go back there and to practice at Johnson C. Smith was a really big deal. I got to film, some of our practice and send it to my dad, and just to think that, my dad went to South Mecklenburg, so, he was, grew up in Pineville, North Carolina. He was the first group of high school students to integrate public schools in Mecklenburg County. Went to Johnson C. Smith, and then now his son is the head coach at University of North Carolina, and they're practicing there before the NCAA tournament. So it's just a pretty cool deal, and I'm glad we were able to experience that.
To our right.
Aaron Beard with the AP. Here you were talking yesterday about really having things on your mind about wanting things to go well for Armando in his last run. I'm kind of curious, you had a 4-year career where Dean Smith was your coach, teammates that came back every year. Can you even imagine what his career has been like from pandemic to a Hall of Fame coach retiring to NIL? I mean, from just a scope of his career has just been, I can't think of something like it.
Yeah, he has had a lot. I appreciate you saying that because, during his time in college, there's a number of things in college basketball that have changed. You talked about the NIL, the transfer portal, the extra COVID year, the involvement of agents, and coming off of a pandemic and changing coaches. And so he's had to, we always talk about how do you react and how do you respond specifically, to changes. And he's had to deal with that from a number of different directions and so for him to be able to embrace that and then be able to have the career that he has had, I think that's something to be celebrated for. And his commitment to this university and this program for 5 years, that's something that's new as well. And I'm glad he's a Tar Heel, and he always will be. And it's been an honor and a privilege to be one of his coaches for the last 5 years.
Back left.
Michael Coe, WCHL, chapelboro.com. Hubert, with the retirements of a bunch of legendary college basketball coaches in the last few years, Coach Williams, Coach Boeheim, Coach K, Jay Wright, Coach Izzo is kind of the elder statesman, if you want to put it that way, of college basketball, or one of them. How cool is it for you as a coach to go up against someone like that for the first time?
Well, I mean, it's just really cool to be a part of college basketball and specifically be a coach alongside Coach Izzo. I've, for the longest of time, have been one of his biggest fans. As a player, I would have loved to play for him because not only his commitment to his players on the court, but his commitment to his players off the court and to his university and the community. I think he teaches life through basketball, and that's something that I experienced at Carolina through Coach Smith. And when I see Coach Izzo, it reminds me a lot of Coach Smith. And so it really is, I say this a lot, but it's an honor and a privilege to be on the sideline alongside with him, and for both of our teams to have an opportunity and a chance to compete tomorrow is a really big deal.
Far right aisle.
Hey, Hubert. Brendan Marks from The Athletic. A couple of players were mentioning how you told them that old Coach Smithism about win the Charlotte Invitational, you get invited to the next Invitational, you get invited to the next one. But you didn't mention that 2 years ago. They said, I was just wondering, you mentioned...
I did.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I did.
Okay.
They forgot.
How have you... That's obviously one of many things you've taken from Coach Smith and Coach Guthridge and Coach Williams. How does that filter of you doing your job through the lens of them? How has that continued to evolve the further you've gotten into your tenure?
Well, I mean, that's who I am. I mean, even from the press conference, when I first accepted the job, I said the foundation of this program, it's, I'm not veering from that. And I'm not veering from it because it's been successful, but more importantly, I've lived it and I believe in it. And I've said that along that path, along that foundation, it's important for me to walk that path, but to do it with my personality in my own shoes. And that's what I've tried to do in the last 3 years. But that's something Coach Smith did and Coach Williams, and the guys forgot. I did do it the first year, and I said, let's win the Fort Worth tournament. And then I said, let's win the Philadelphia tournament. And so that's not something that I just thought about this year. This is something that I've done since the time that I was here at Carolina as a player.
To our left.
Brendan Lunga, the Daily Tar Heel. With Pax playing against his dad tomorrow, I'm wondering if you've had any conversations with him about that and what do you think that dynamic will be like tomorrow for Paxton?
Well, I mean, they've done it before. I mean, when he was at Brown, they played at Michigan State, and so this isn't a situation where he hasn't been in this situation before. And so the Wojcik family is, you can't ask for a more connected, better family to be around. Even on the off days that Coach Wojcik could, he would come and fly in to come see Pax play, whether it was on the road or at home. And so being able to go out there and compete against each other, it's something that they've done before, and I don't think it's an issue. It's Michigan State versus North Carolina, and it'll be a good game tomorrow.
Back to our right.
Hubert, I know you already spoke about JCSU. While you were speaking about the program, Coach Joyner announced his retirement. I don't know if you have how much experience you have with him. I know you spoke to him the other day at the gym.
Yeah, he's just a long-time legendary coach at Johnson C. Smith, and very sad to hear that he's not going to continue to be head coach. The things that I've loved about him as head coach is the same things that I've mentioned about Coach Smith, about Coach Izzo, about teaching life through basketball, and his service not only to his basketball program, but to Johnson C. Smith and to the Charlotte community. and for the CIAA has been something that has been remarkable. And so you talk about, legendary coaches that have retired. He is a legendary coach that's leaving the game.
Again to our right.
Hey, Hubert. Sorry, follow up. Armando was mentioning how with you like to give the players a scouting report maybe 2 or 3 days ahead of time if possible. How did you get to your philosophy in scouting? Because you've mentioned a few times Coach Smith would do, 1 dot for a good shooter,
Yeah,
2
there
dots
was
for
no
a good
scouting. Yeah.
Right. So how has your philosophy evolved from that?
I really believe it's come from the NBA. My time in the NBA, scouting is just huge, and it's even, I tell the guys, the scouting that we do is probably 5% of what is done in the NBA, and we play even more games. I mean, just the attention to detail in terms of scouting in the NBA is ridiculous, to the percentages of when a guy dribbles to his right and when he gets up off the bench and he hops on his left foot. This is the play that they're running. And so scouting report is not a cheat sheet. It's to give them and to guide them in their anticipation to be able to be the best out there on the floor. And I think it's important for the guys to do that. A huge reason also is not only for us, because I always say this to the guys, I'll never ask you to do anything that's a benefit for us, that's not a benefit for you personally. Giving these guys scouting reports and preparing them here allows them, or puts them in a position when they go to the next level, they've done this before. And so it's in preparation for them moving forward as well, so that when they go to the next level, they know what they're doing. And that's really important to me.
Other questions for Coach Davis? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Next coach.